Are you ready to get into it? Let's get nerdy, because I'm going to hit you with some numbers. According to a government study from 2022, about 68% of us commute to work by car. Then the average commute time is somewhere around 25 minutes. And I would suggest if that is indeed by car, a lot of that is going to be spent in traffic. So let's work through a common commuter scenario. Travelling to and from the station, 15 minutes either way, getting the train into London. Let's use the London Northwestern line because our factory is based in Berkhamsted and we're on that line. A 15-minute drive there and back in a hyper-efficient Ford Puma, which is currently the nation's favourite car, would cost about £1.38. Now, on average, people generally work about 232 days a year, taking into account holidays and bank holidays, etc. So automatically, you're looking at maybe around £319 a year just on fuel going to and from the station. If we then look at parking, car parks on the London Northwestern line average about £10 per day. So even if you're really organised and you bought yourself a season ticket, that's going to be looking at about £864 a year. So already we're looking at £1,180 a year simply going to and from the station. Then at the other end, once you've got to London, if you look to use the underground, you're potentially looking at £1,300 just to stay within Zone 1. So already we're not shy of £2,500 a year just in that commute. I'm just going to leave that one there. Not really. I'm going to try and sell you an e-bike. So imagine it, not spending all that money on parking and fuel, etc., and ingesting other people's germs. Instead, cruising past a line of backed up cars, feeling unashamedly smug. And let's be honest, the only thing a Brit loves more than queuing is a sense of moral superiority. Driving, and unfortunately also public transport these days, are increasingly unreliable. And even if you're a pure bikerphobe, we know you must find that frustrating. And this was evident recently when there was a tube strike in London. Lime, the e-bike operator, saw a 70% increase in usage. Then a follow-up poll saw that a result of 28% of Londoners were more likely to consider cycling in the future just to avoid such disruption. Obviously, these scenarios that we've discussed may not exactly match up with your circumstances, but I think it's a pretty good reflection of the kind of financial and temporal hit you might be taking by commuting by car and tube. There are of course some big positives to driving to work. It's warm in the winter, and when you're feeling tired and just can't be bothered, you just press the go pedal. Cycling does also necessitate a certain amount of faff. Rain jackets, locks, etc. I always find my logic turning to, would I rather a one-off payment for a beautiful, practical Estarli E20.X like this, or would I prefer to spend the same amount of money on a yearly basis to be subsumed into somebody's armpit? Now, if I'm being fair, I have presented this as a binary issue, but it's not that simple, because even if you commute by bike, more often than not, you're still going to save a hell of a lot of money. And then on top of that, it's a bit of easy exercise. And with the 5 different power modes, you can choose exactly how that exercise feels. I've also presented this as all about commuting, but it's not all about commuting. You know, there's so many benefits to stretch beyond saving a little bit of money and a different mode of transport. An e-bike represents something greater than that. It represents a bit of adventure, a bit of an excitement, every single commute being about doing something fun. And there's a reason why our folders and our cargo bikes are so popular with young families, because of the adventure. And I would really, really dare you to not smile when you see a couple of kids on the back of a cargo going to school. So really, that is what I'm selling you. It's an investment, and not a small one, granted, but one that could potentially have paid for itself in a year and paid for itself a million times over in terms of enjoyment and, let's face it, self-satisfaction.